So if there was no AIPAC, the US would still support Israel because the US has big strategic interests in the Middle East, and it doesn't need a lobby group to tell it to do that. If you think about the US's particular interests in the region, oil and gas, arms sales, for example, the lobby groups for the oil and gas industry, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, AIPAC is like this, they're like that, on a graph in terms of the amount of money spent. If you think about...
Well, they're also lobbying, so there's a double thing. Yeah.
And they all, put it this way. If Lockheed Martin, Boeing, ExxonMobil, et cetera, thought that Israel wasn't a strategic asset to the US, AIPAC would be squashed in an instant. And if the US state didn't think, the US government is itself an institution of interest. If it thought that Israel wasn't a strategic asset and AIPAC was trying to push it around saying, no, it is, AIPAC would be squashed in an instant. And indeed, when AIPAC told the US government under Barack Obama, don't sign this nuclear deal with Iran, I don't know if anyone remembers this nuclear diplomacy with Iran, and the US signed this deal, as did the rest of these other Western countries, telling Iran to limit its nuclear technology. AIPAC said, you must not sign this deal, and the American government just ignored them. So I think it's worth, when we talk about these pro-Israel lobbies, I mean, the obvious point that these are not Jewish lobbies, they're pro-Israel lobbies, including many people who are not Jewish, they're just right-wing. That's the first thing to say about it. The second thing to say about it is this pro-Israel lobbying is important to a certain degree, If you've lost your job because of them, it's really important, but they don't dictate policy. And one of the reasons I wanted to stress this stuff about the geopolitical value of the region to big powers is so that people can start being able to answer the question, why the hell are our governments supporting this sort of thing? Which is it's the same reason our governments have supported all sorts of violence in the Middle East for decades. Their own strategic interests. I think it's worth thinking of pro-Israel lobbies as pro-West lobbies as well. Like, if you're Joe Biden or if you're Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak, these pro-Israel lobbyists are doing good work for you, right? They're bullying all the people who are protesting your foreign policy. It's great from the point of view of a British politician or an American politician if there are pro-Israel groups who are weeding out progressives from Congress who are, giving activists a hard time for protesting against genocide. That's great. And remember that, if you look closely, I'm not going to name any names, but if you look closely on the pro-Israel, the particularly pro-Israel people, you will find on the right of the Labour Party who are also very close to the British arms industry, because there's a perfect, correlation of interest. The British arms industry must love the idea that people who are against British arms sales can be attacked, smeared, whatever, by pro-Israel lobbyists. They're not an external, this is the thing, Israel isn't external to the West, and these lobby groups are not external to British and American politics. They're part of the ecosystem, and they do a good job, by no means not just for Israel, also for the British state, the British arms industry. So, that helps us get even further away from this idea of a pro-Israel lobby pulling the strings, as it were.